Yo, welcome to another Should You Watch, Should You Read video. I am MGG and I'm joined here by my co-host.
What's going on is Jugga.
What's good? It's Deuce.
Yep, and today we're doing a Should You Watch video of Tower of God. Let's see if season 1 was good enough to keep us watching. To the overview of the series, Tower of God starts off with a character named Baam, who I don't know if we want to call it transported or whatever. He just ends up in this place, quote unquote, the Tower of God, I guess, and it's very hard to explain because the nature of the show is to confuse you. So I'm trying my best to explain it without explaining it. But basically this kid Baam enters this Tower of God, and his goal is to get to the top. I think once you get to the top, you get some wish granted or something like that. So his wish is kind of to like rejoin his love in this other life or area or whatever the fuck he was before he got to the tower. In that, we get to meet like a whole host of different characters. We get to see the interesting aspects of this quote unquote tower, as well as like the world building aspect of what this tower is, the people who actually know about the tower, Baam himself, who is considered what they call an irregular, someone who really doesn't know anything about the tower at all, is just magically transported to this place. And it just gets more and more confusing from there. So that's the minimal intro with spoilers, without spoilers, sorry. You can jump straight into the story aspect, I guess, of the show and what we thought about it. So what are our thoughts on the story?
Well, to kick it off, I honestly thought the story was like, okay, to kind of like summarize my thought on like, at least like, again, for clarification for all the listeners, we're only talking about the anime here, the first 13 episodes of the series. Hopefully it keeps on getting continued. But anyways, what I got from the feel of it was the perfect way to kind of keep you interested and keep you guessing and have a consistent amount of questions while very slightly answering some of them to a degree and still introducing you to more episode by episode. So all around, I thought this was a pretty interesting, like, just anime. And I already know from the manga number that, you know, there's so much more to learn and see, and you definitely get that feel from the anime itself. I mean, like, the feel of it, like, for lack of a better word, is pretty much like a prequel. It pretty much introduces everything you would need to know to really start episode 1. So if you think about it, season 1 of Tower of God, in my opinion, was just one huge episode 0 for the whole series entirely. They introduce like pretty much, you know, your main character, like the start of the actual world building, and it really keeps you like interested in like just that mystery aspect of the world itself, along with the big twist at the end that just like gets you emotionally involved in too. So it definitely keeps you going from like just wanting to see more of the series itself. But all around, I thought it was actually pretty dope.
Yeah, I mean, like, I kind of agree a lot with what you said about it being kind of like an episode 0 thing. I liked and disliked that part of it where I felt like they taught you and you kind of don't know where it's going. So the first episode, I pretty much watched the first episode, then took a pretty decent break before I continued on the rest. It was just basically Deuce saying that it gets better in the manga or something like that, that pretty much kept me like, all right, let me at least get through the first season. Then after that, it's like the characters kind of kept me more interested, but it was always like an episode of just like, wait, what? And I felt like, at least for me, when the story got me more like, all right, I can consistently watch these episodes, was probably after like the I would say like the preliminary test. So when it got to the point of like introducing Anak and the Green March, that is where I think I started to develop like that's where I think I started to develop like real like, okay, I'm paying attention more now. Those first initial tests were kind of like I don't know. They were okay, but it doesn't like. Normally, when you're watching like the first 3 episodes of a show, you feel like they're trying to set something up or like explain certain things to you, like how the concept of the powers work or how the concept of the world works or something like that. And I don't feel like I necessarily got that from the 3 episodes. I'd say the closest that gave me that was like when they started talking about the Shinsui or like the holy water stuff. But then I felt like in later episodes, it just totally like flipped. Like it turned into like a wait, what? Like at first I felt like it was like, oh, okay, this is just something that the world uses. Then it's like more of a power system. But then it's like something that only a certain set of people use. So like I said, it just adds more questions that make it more annoying, because I think I went through the whole season, like you said, episode 0, and I still really don't feel like I grasped the power system of the show, like how that's supposed to work, the purpose of the tower, or like the tower world itself. I don't feel like I have a strong understanding of the princesses. I just feel very like lost in the first season. I felt like maybe they should have doubled the amount of episodes, so maybe I would get more of that clarity. But I don't know, Deuce might be able to speak more to that because he actually like reads the manga. If like he feels like he's captured like an understanding of those aspects of the story. But I felt like I didn't capture any of it like by the end of the season at all. I felt totally lost.
So I would agree that Tower of God is, yes, it is very confusing. I mean, even I think I'm like 100% caught up, but there's a lot of things I still don't know. And even like if I know it, like you said, I still don't fully understand certain things, or for me to fully understand it, I have to like do research on my own. I think it is kind of confusing, but that's also why I like it. I think I generally like stories where like the world building I think is pretty good, and that's what I get from this. I would say I do think the first 13 episodes, they should have extended it somehow. I know that's the end of the first part of the story, but they should have just continued on into the next part, because I mean that's not really, again, 13 episodes. Come on, like what's that? I don't even know if a person would be hooked off of those 13 episodes, you know. But yeah, I mean, just the world and the itself is what does it for me. The characters, yeah, and the characters are generally interesting. Also, the power scheme, it is a little confusing. I just try to look at Shinsu, or however you say it, like the same thing as every other anime. Like it's their Ryatsu, it's their chakra, it's their ki, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, I saw it as a pretty reasonable like hockey, low key. I saw like a decent correlation there.
And then what I think is important though is the different positions. Like if you didn't pay
that's where I
to
got it. No, that episode is where I felt like, okay, they're finally starting to build like the power system and how like it's gonna work. Like I actually enjoyed that episode a lot because I was like, okay, finally I get it. So there's some niggas who good at using the water shits. There's some spear people. What I didn't like about that though was I felt like some of the matchups or placements seemed a little odd to me. Like who certain people got into certain, like Rack, who seems like a very tanky type of person. I felt like placing him in that like spear chucker or spear thrower, whatever you want to call it, position. It just seemed odd. Like I felt like there should have been more of like a tanky
keep watching
thing for him. But it is what it is.
Yeah, keep watching. But I think I think it's like a guideline thing. I don't think it's necessarily, and also it's not just water.
You're stuck there.
It's more than water. Like I said, it's almost like they have different elements and shit too. You know, some niggas could use fire, probably. Some niggas could use like other lightning, shit like that. So, but yeah, I didn't understand the position thing until I was like halfway through the chapters, honestly.
Oh wow.
So I think the anime party did a better job of explaining
it.
Yeah.
That makes sense. I think like the big takeaway with what I'm hearing is that like, well, plus like what we actually saw is that since we know at least the manga's like so far down the line that they're really treating this anime that like, at least they're hoping that they'll have, you know, like the money and the support to continue the anime, you know, pretty much like the full lifespan or mighty close to the manga. So if you think about it in the sense of like, what did we see in the first 13 episodes of like Naruto, or like the first 13 episodes of One Piece? You know what I mean? It might get like somewhat close to. I don't think it was as confusing. I will definitely add that little part into it, but you definitely don't see like not even 10%, 5% of the worlds that they ended up building with only those 13 episodes. So I guess that's also a good sign that Tower of God's in it for the long haul. So I guess in that respect.
I think it's great for that, but I think the negative part of it is like building a world so big like that. It's hard to condense that into a seasonal joint. You know what I mean? Like imagine if One Piece was seasonal. Like all of those chapters, like in a seasonal format, fucking sucks. I get for like the modern day, like it's probably the best way for people to process it, get into it, build the hype, and like stay consistent. But I think this show might have had a better format if it was just like weekly episodes, because then at the same time it allows you to like build. Like now I have to wait, like let's say I was just like fuck it, I want to wait until this makes a little bit more sense. Now I'm basically waiting like a couple of years to watch like binge 2 seasons and feel like I got a good grasp of the story, versus if it was like weekly, I could just like, all right, I'm gonna like give it a couple months, let a few episodes build up, binge those episodes, and then feel like I have a better grasp of the story. Because to me, I'm already fucking confused and barely remember the names of people. So I feel like next year, if season 2 drops, I'm gonna be like, shit, who is this person again? Like, you know what I'm saying? There's so much things I gotta remember. It's just gonna be like what? That's how I felt about Westworld, actually. Like same thing with Westworld. It's just like, if you give me too long of a break with all the complicated plots and stories and complex stories, you make it very hard for me to like pick it back up again, because I'm like, what's going on? Like you got to recap me on everything.
Okay, that's actually pretty fair though. I mean,
go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, like, definitely, at least from like a business aspect, and like this day and age, as far as capturing attention, it will, as far as like the younger crowd, I could definitely see a complication there, in the sense of like I wouldn't say there's like enough hands to really capture, like, oh man, like the action is like crazy, super cool, blah blah blah, and like the story's like so like how does really say it? So the story is so deep to a way that it's not explained so easily in like every single step, that again, like that younger crowd would just see it and be like, I'm actually getting kind of bored right now. You know what I mean? Like if anything, I would think this anime is like more suited for us, like us being like like the audience of maybe between like mid-20s, been in the anime world in a while, have actually like seen like the beginning of end of like big anime and like big stories, in the sense that like we're the ones who would be able to appreciate like how deep of a story and how deep of a world building this can really go on, which is definitely the biggest 2 aspects of Tower of God. So I can definitely see them having some trouble with that, and I guess considering that point alone, that would be a reason to at least think about, I guess, speeding up the 13 episodes. Now that we're talking about it now, I could definitely see it. Or like, as you said, probably like instead of 13 episodes, make it like that 24, 25, 26. Definitely could help out. But I see what you're saying though.
For me, I think it'll work as long as, like you said, as long as they don't like take too long to push out seasons. If they want to take a year or 2 years, then no, this is not going to cut it. 13 episodes in 2 years. Nobody's going to remember anything, But if they can, I feel like My Hero is pretty good with like coming out with seasons. Like I feel like their seasons come back pretty quickly. So I think if they can do something like that, I think it'll work for them. And then, like you said, I do think like the Korean mangas, they aren't like shown in. I don't think they're like designed for like a 14-year-old kid anyway, like you said. Right. So I think that is for like older people. It probably also helps with like attention span maybe. But yeah, if they have I still think they need more than 13 episodes a season. I still think that was a mistake. But as long as it's not too infrequent and they cut the seasons at the right point, I think it'll work. Yeah.
I mean, last thing I will add, like on the story, at least for me, like the thing that's keeping me intrigued is really like the I mean, I guess best way to say it is the world building, but I would kind of almost say like the characters more, because I feel like there's so many diverse, like what it seems like backstories. I don't even want to go if it's, I don't know if they're specific races yet or not, but like between the princesses of Jahad, everyone's who might be important, like individual storylines and relationships with the tower and why they want to get to the top. Like there's a lot of like Jug already said that's building towards this like super long story, but it also like they did a good job, at least in this season, for me who can appreciate something like that, of giving me enough detail to where I would like, I'm not like where it's worth it. You know what I mean? Where I'm like, okay, I can still get into season 2 and like finish season 2, because I do want to know more about like these characters. I'm very interested to see what other rankers are out there and like what they can do, and like the power system. Like they definitely laid the framework, I said, really, really well. Do I think they could have done more? Yeah, but I do think they, if you can appreciate that kind of story, you're not in there just to like see badass fights from the beginning. You're like a One Piece fan, or you've delved into like long form stories before. I think you can definitely appreciate the way Tower of God tells it, because I do feel like they're taking their time, but they can at least give you enough information that like keep you intrigued.
Right.
You know, it just may not be something that I'm like, I wouldn't say I was like glued to my seat for it, but it's definitely something that like I'm not going to forget about. Like I'm going to keep up with in so many ways, you know? And then I'm just waiting for that moment of like, all right, this is too interesting for me to like sit on it for next season. Like I'm just going to read it. Like that's, I haven't got that from season 1, but like
the potential.
I could have if Deuce told me they answered more questions. Like if he told me like, yo, XYZ questions isn't answered and up right now in the manga, I probably would have just got up and read it, because I just want to know I'm curious that way. But
like I said, some of your questions still unanswered.
No, they definitely, yeah. I mean, that was like the biggest plus of the series for me. They just kept introducing like reasonably sized, decent questions regarding the world and just like the power structure and like just the development of how the characters are with, you know, like that emotional impact close to the end of the series. That is just like, again, like as you said, it won't keep you on the edge of your seat, but you'll just be constantly thinking about it, right? Like they just like kept kind of teasing at it a little bit as like episode and episode went on through the series, where it's just like, oh fuck, now how's that gonna like, you know, evolve and develop into? So it just like, for me, it just, I just was continuously interested, like as they brought it up. And one thing I also, like a side note regarding the story too, is that I do like the kind of random sarcastic and comedic scenes they kind of throw in there, because those things were actually low-key kind of funny. Like especially like Rock, but I mean we'll go into it later. But like the scenes that they put Rock into just be hilarious to me.
Oh, to me, I thought I guess it's kind of like a character segue, but I did appreciate Dude, the karate homie that wears the jumpsuit. One of my favorite characters. I thought that dude was fucking hilarious.
Oh, you mean he was on like a Knox team, right?
Yeah,
that
dude.
Yeah.
Like him in that first episode, like, or the episode where they do the water training, and old girl, I thought that was a great way to introduce her too. Like old girl goes up and she's like, yeah, this water training ain't shit, blah blah blah. Out through the joint, and she just paused. I was like, that's pretty funny. And then like their interaction, I wish they built on that a little bit more throughout the season. But yeah, that shit was funny. That was kind of like a character thing, but I just had to put that out there.
No, I thought the same. I mean, with that, we could probably, I mean, unless someone's got some more points, we could probably dive into some of these characters.
I'm good with we can go to the characters.
Yeah.
All right. Well, to start it off, we got the main man himself, Baam. And overall, to be honest, I wasn't really feeling him that hard as a character. I mean, I could be biased, but I'm always like that guy who's always against like your whole purpose being for someone else, and like that just rubs me like a certain wrong way. And to know that like pretty much all of this, like pretty much of what he's doing is just to like get with Rachel again, be with Rachel again, and like pretty much not solve, but like help her succeed her dream. It's like, bro, like really? Like you really got like nothing else to live for? And like that just kind of rubs me the wrong way. So it's like he was like, yo, super go lucky, as like pretty much all the characters who are with him kind of had that same sense of like giving off that innocence. That's like all they want to do is protect him and like support him because of said innocence, that all he wants to do is just be with his lady. So I was like, as granted, at the end though, I was like, oh snap, okay, hold up, he might be developing. But so just since like, you know, the anime as a whole so far, to look him as a character, I'd probably give him like probably a decent trash in all honesty.
Yeah, I mean, like for Baam, I'm giving him a trash. Like as it stands right now, there wasn't anything interesting about him to me. I didn't enjoy any of the scenes with him. Basically, any scene that I enjoyed with Bond usually involved someone else in some way, shape, or form. Meaning, like, and it was usually related to like story building. Like, I'm just interested in the Black March is his sword's name.
Yeah. No, that's right.
Oh, okay. The chick has a green April. That's what it is.
Yep.
Yeah, but I'm interested in that.
Neither of them have it now.
Wait, pause. What?
By the end of the first season.
Oh yeah, well the first season he don't have it no more yet.
Yeah, but either way, like that was the part that was interesting to Baam for me. Like the backstory with Rachel, I didn't care much about, and like the power development I care about. But like as far as like what Bond has to say about life or anything relating to the story, like I really don't care. It's never interesting. I never enjoy it, and I also never care. So like, as far as that, like I would say he's definitely like trash for right now. He has no depth to me. And I think that's like intentional, obviously, with the author, because we don't know where the fuck he comes from. And it seems like he was just raised by Rachel anyway. So I understand why he has no depth. It just doesn't mean that I have to say that he's interesting because I understand that fact. And he's not.
Yeah,
so.
Like you said, I do think that's intentional. I mean, I would also say, based off as of now in the season 1, yeah, he's definitely, I feel like, trash. I even hate his name. Like,
I do think that was dumb too. It didn't make
much sense. What a fucking weird name. Like, I wonder, did Rachel give him that name? If so, she definitely is a bitch. Because I mean, like, why would you like name this nigga Baam?
Right,
like,
you got a whole Rachel as your name. Like, I don't know where Baam would come from.
25th, yeah, goofy. But I mean, yeah, he doesn't know anything. He doesn't do anything. He's just a nice guy. That's like in season 1. That's really all he is. Just a nice guy. He's not strong. Like he's nothing. He's good at nothing.
I feel like he pretty much knows just as much as the audience does when it comes to story, and we might know a little bit more about.
Yeah, we might know more than his ass.
Damn. But yeah.
So every other character is pretty much better than him in season 1. You know, like every other side character, everyone in the cast, they are more interesting, just overall, than he is.
True.
I agree with that. So what other characters are we rating? Do we want to move on to Kun?
Let's go on to Kun. Okay,
I would give Kun actually. I would say decent. Like, I don't think I'm going to give any of the characters here. Rock might get a lip for me.
Yeah,
but like, but yeah, like because of like the nuanceness of the story and the fact that like there's just so many questions raised. It's hard to fully appreciate all the characters just yet.
And then it's only
at least
15 episodes, you know.
Right, exactly. But from what I got to see from Kun, he strikes me as the strategist type, which I'm a sucker for in any anime or manga, so I definitely got to put some respect on his name for that. So I give him a decent plus. And then I also think like I am curious about his backstory and the fact that the fucking names are so weird. Roro, whatever the fuck dude's name was. Yeah, he was like, watch out for that nigga. So that part I thought I was like, all right. The one, he's a ranker, but he was like one of the test administrators in the very beginning. Blonde hair. Yeah, kind of looked like Hisoka, but like a blonder, not as weird version.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I think I know what you mean.
Yeah.
So he was like, oh, watch out for Kun. So I felt like that put some plot points in there where I'm like, all right, I at least want to see what this man's backstory is. I want to learn more about him. He got me curious, so I'll give him a decent plus for character on me.
Yeah, I mean, in case unless I missed it, I still don't fully understand his backstory.
Oh damn!
Damn, in the manga still?
Mm-hmm.
He's not giving
you know,
stories.
I mean, you know about him, but it's like I feel like that's going to be a whole arc almost about his like backstory. We haven't touched on that yet.
Mm-hmm. Snap. Well, pretty much for like the same points as MGG, I'd probably give him like a decent. Actually, F around. I'm gonna actually give him a decent as hell. Maybe a decent as hell minus, but I think he deserves to be up there for the simple fact that I think homie knows that Rachel be on that BS. Like homie been hurt. He's skeptical on everything. Like homie knows like something's going on here. And like the next season, is like if they start to build on it, when they start to build on it, I feel like homie's gonna like start to slowly call her out on that BS. And plus, again, like he's smart. He got the strategies on strategies. Even out strategized a ranker for like pretty much his own purposes. So I gotta give him big ups for that. And then I don't know, like something about his character design too, just has like that chill, low-key plotting, low-key a boss kind of look to him. So I'm about that too.
And I think his whole family kind of has like almost that look, I feel like. But I was actually gonna give him a decent minus until you said that he's really the only nigga that like kind of know what Rachel's up to. So. And because of that,
put some respect on his name.
Yeah. Just like, his bullshit detective was on point, you know, compared to everybody else. But like in season 1, I mean, yeah, he was the only one. Like I guess it wasn't for him that they all would have failed that test. And for that, he also like deserved some props. But other than that, I don't think he did too much besides that. Well, actually, no. Even his plan to sneak those. To sneak those people in his like suitcase and all that shit.
Oh, true. That was dope. Actually, that was pretty dope.
So
holy crap. He was scheming from the get-go. I forgot about that. That's legit.
Boy had them plots, boy. All right, I guess we could move on to the real one, Rat.
Hey.
I think at least as far as this show goes, I gotta give him a lit just for season 1. He just was the most enjoyable character. I would say next to the karate Bruce Lee homie for me. I liked his vibe. I kind of liked how he was shutting shit down, and I absolutely loved his the test experience where like he went against I guess Rachel's protector, and he was like the only spear thrower to like actually pass the joint while everybody else was doing shit. He was just sitting there watching like them do that battle. I just thought that whole like a couple episodes was pretty funny to me too. So I enjoy Rack, and I liked how he got turned into that little thing too.
Oh, dude,
by that one ranker. Yeah, like there was a lot of good funny moments with Rack, and it was genuinely funny. Like I actually laughed. So I enjoy it.
No, I definitely got to give my guy lit status. Like, homie is just like that strong, love battles, like effing hilarious, but like still genuine. So like his like, wears the heart on his sleeve kind of thing, where he's not really about strats or plotting or deception. It's just right in your face kind of attitude. And it was just like a pleasure. Like it's right from like the get-go. And like him like with the candy bars, him as like a little kid, and like I know it's like super random, but like pretty much the part that MGG was saying as far as like him just like checking, like him being like the winner, he passed and he's checking out everyone else doing the exam. But then when Rachel's bodyguard like disappeared, like those like 10 seconds of him just like looking for him was like low-key hilarious to me. Wait, what the fuck? Wait, where'd he go? Like, I see him? No, I was so done. He's great.
Yeah, I also got to give him a lit. I mean, everything with this guy is hilarious. Honestly, and I love that. It's so funny to me that he thinks in his head that he is that nigga. Even when he's like, he'd be like, "Oh, Baam's my prey. Hey, don't fuck with this nigga. He's my prey. Hey, don't fuck with him. I'm gonna take him down." Like just shit like that. He thinks he can. I'm pretty sure he thinks he can beat like the test, the ranker. Like if you ask him, he can beat Yuhan Sung, the guy with the yellow hair. He probably thinks he can beat him. Like it's just hilarious that this nigga like thinks he's that nigga for real.
That's why it be so funny, man. He just really be on that with you. Hilarious. The fact that
even when he turned into that little small version, he still thinks.
Oh yeah,
he was still about it.
Oh, he wanted to smoke. He was funny, man.
Oh my god! Like he literally said, "Am I can't get off from the flow. Yo, help me!" Like as a command. Like it was like nothing.
Right.
He was chill as fuck. Oh my god.
Whew. All right. I guess at past rack, I think we're on to the one, Rachel. Even though we had like pretty much minimal experience with her, I think I'm already kind of ready to say she's trash. I'm sure maybe when I understand her motivations, it'll go a little bit higher. But for right now, everything I've experienced in the few scenes that we've seen Rachel in, has been just not enjoyable and trash. Basically, like one, she raised Bam, and we already gave Bam our rating, which was trash. So, as a parent to that guy, I just feel like, well, what am I expecting from you? And then second to that, I don't know, her character traits, behaviors, or whatever. She was just weird. And I'm sure it's all a part of the story to explain something and X, Y, Z, and it'll mean something later. But for right now, it's just we don't know enough about all the characters in this tower and why they're here and what they came from. Because all I've seen in this season was just her and Bam talking to each other underground somewhere. So I don't know what she actually wants from the tower that's gonna justify her behavior. But I mean, we'll fucking see. But yeah, she's trash for me.
Mm-hmm.
I see. Okay, this is tough for one reason. For one reason. What the fuck? For one reason alone. As a person, Rachel to me is trash, right? But at the same time, she's so petty. She's so bogus. She's so salty that actually, in fact, caused her to pull off one of the biggest finesses in the series, though. So it's like, do I give her big ups that her pettiness carried her to the top spot for where she needs to be right now? I mean, or do I actually give the little bit of big ups in the sense of, again, you were petty, you were bogus, but your scheme worked. You know what I mean? All she has to say is, look at the scoreboard. And I'm just like, oh, those are actually facts. Those are facts. So all I'm going to do is just kind of do a balance from it. And I gotta bump her up maybe to a decent trash plus, or maybe something around there. Because again, I mean, as an actual person, what she did to Baam was bogus. I mean, when I was looking over the whole series and their relationship, I personally saw a toxic effing relationship. She was only with Baam to be that savior, to be that, she just wanted someone to be in love with her kind of thing, right? And then when she finally starts to get what she wants, ends up going to the tower, homie's ooh, nah, I didn't even want you though. You trashy trash. You can leave right now. And then she starts getting salty and stuff. And then what does she do? But she ended up using pretty much all the power she obtained from said toxic relationship to again push her forward. And again, that just can't rub me the wrong way. I mean, that just rubs me the wrong way. But I mean, it worked. So it's but
she
anyway.
needs a nasty award. Go ahead, give her a nasty award, bro. She was just dirty.
Yeah, she can get that award. Yeah, the nasty award for sure.
I think it's been clear and justified and voted upon. So Rachel, you get the nasty award, at least for the moment. And once the year is over, you'll probably get the you can suck a dick award as well. So all right.
I do think it is hard to kind of give her a rating.
Yeah,
she's trash, but again, I think she's supposed to be trash, and we're supposed to hate her. Joffrey, we're supposed to hate Joffrey. I think it's legit like that.
Right.
She's supposed to be useless. She's supposed. Well, is that a spoiler?
No, as far
she's useless.
So far.
So yeah, she's supposed to be useless. Supposed to be a bad person. Supposed to be and Baam is supposed to be the nice guy that everyone likes, and then she's supposed to be the opposite of that completely. That. Yeah. Nobody really fuck with her for real, and then she ain't got no friends. She ain't got no power. She's not the it's not a shonen, but she's the opposite of a shonen savior character.
Right.
She was not blessed with anything. She's supposed to be just trash, literally just trash. That's all she is.
But I feel we get that in other stuff, you know what I mean? But it's just the arc, you feel me? Not the whole story. If you remember Fire Force, there's that chick or whatever that like dude in the Vulcan, the guy who like made their shit.
The red hair chick.
Yeah, he was like, "Oh yeah, I gotta save you," but she was like, "No, I'm, blah blah blah." And I feel like that's what Baam is like trying to be for Rachel. Is just like, I know you hate the world, but I'm gonna show you it's good, and then eventually she'll like come around and stop being a bitch. But it's like, I don't want that to be the entire story. You feel me? Like that.
Sure.
That's what it seems like. Is like that's going to be the entire story, and that shit is gonna fucking suck. Like those parts are not gonna be fun for me.
Spoiler alert! It's not the entire thing, but it's a big
okay, good.
Until the nigga starts to come to his senses.
Thank God.
She just a bitch. Like
shout outs to Baam for realizing that shit. Bro.
Yeah,
I didn't think it was ever gonna happen. You just seem way too goddamn nice.
Yeah, it wasn't until he got to lose that niceness first. That's all it is.
He's gonna lose it. That's great, man. It's nice to see your friends don't take it.
I mean, if he realized you gotta start killing people. You gotta start like people gonna die and shit. Like he realized that shit's gonna happen. So he couldn't be the full nice guy, I guess. He's still nice. Don't get me wrong. Like he's still a nigga like the Naruto would want to try and save everyone, but he realized like, oh yeah,
yeah, do some
stuff. I'm low-key getting my friends killed right now. You know what I mean? Like doing what he's trying to do, shit like that.
Fucking with this bitch Rachel.
Rachel's not even in the shits right now. I don't know.
Shit. Hope your ass dead. Fucking around.
Honestly, Rachel, I still don't fully understand the motives either. It's so strange to me. Like, what's the goal? Like, they keep saying she wants to get stars and some shit like that. I'm like,
what?
I'm like, okay, why you would like?
She was sick of being underground. That's what it is. She was bad about being underground.
Yeah, I don't fully know. Like, I think they touch on it every now and then of like, there's like a deeper like link between them, between her and Baam, but we just don't know what it is yet. It may have to do with like some parents shit or I don't know. But I just don't know what the purpose is. Like, why the fuck you want to go to the top of this tower? Like, why? Like, why are you doing all this shit? You doing sea snaking niggas to get to the top? Like, why? Why do you want to go into the tower? Like, I really don't get it at all. But,
for real.
Those are the questions, man. Keeps you going.
Did you say what you rated her again?
Oh man, I think we also got to give her a nasty award. Like, I don't know if I can rate her. Yeah. Like, actually, I give her like a decent trash. I give her a decent trash. On top of a nasty award.
What's a nasty award? And then I guess before we get into honorable mentions, the last would just be like grouping the princesses of Jahad together and seeing our thoughts on those. I think as far as like a group goes, they're definitely creating a very interesting plot point to me in the story. And from the ones that we've met so far, even though like there's still some confusion about like what this whole thing means, because like, and maybe you guys can explain it, because I think some of it was just like my lack of understanding. But the princesses of Jahad, right? There's like a princess, right, that represents, I'm assuming, multiple different races, right? So like there might be race A that are like, you know, basically the king has said like the niggas that come from this race are just like special niggas, basically. So some of them, or a couple of them, have a high aptitude of completing the tower. Is that what it is? Or because the way they were making it seem at first when I started watching it was like, if you were a princess of Jahad, you basically already made it to the top, or you at least have a very good understanding of how like this world fucking works. So that was the part where I was like, well, why the fuck are Anak? And then when it came out like Anak isn't really a princess, I was like, okay, all right, I gotta get that. But like the other girl, it seems like they're saying she is a fucking princess.
In
Dorsey. So I was just like, so does that mean you passed the tower already? But it sounds like you haven't, because you're obviously here. Like it was some weird.
Because she's a princess of Jahad, but she's not a ranker. Like the tower, that's when you become a ranker. But she still has to go through the tower like everyone else. What I understand is it's just like hard. Like if you cold, you're cold and you're a female, like you might get selected to be a princess of Jahad. Like they just like pretty much take the coldest niggas, the coldest women, and make them princess of Jahad. Like a lot of them come from like the royal family shits. But
Yeah.
like in Dorsey's a regular person. I mean, you know.
That just
Anak
got
is
it because he
It's
called.
just a green creature, whatever the fuck she is.
But I mean, she's technically the daughter of a princess, right? So it's
Who?
like, does it
Anak.
work that way? Do you? Do you?
Well, I mean,
inherit
but that's
her
just the
bloodline?
thing, though. Like, all princesses of Jahad can't have children. That's why Homegirl got in the first place.
Oh,
So, I mean, there's
Well, they can't.
nothing
They're
blood
supposed to.
related. That's
Yeah,
all.
none of them blood. I mean, they could be blood related if they're from the same family, of course. But yeah, in general, no. Like that, it doesn't mean they're blood related at all. And I think in Dorsey said something like that. Like, doesn't mean that they're not real sisters. They just like I said, they just like had like a lot of potential, and so they just scooped them up and made them into a princess of Jahad.
Right.
so but the lady that basically raised Anak, is that actually her biological mother or no?
Yes, that's
No,
the
it is.
green lady. Yeah, that's what
Yeah.
it is.
But you're saying the princesses actually can't have kids.
No,
Like,
they can
well,
have
I mean,
kids.
I can't
They're
as
not
far as like it's not legal.
Yeah.
It's not
Yeah,
legal.
they're not
Oh,
supposed to have
okay.
kids.
Yeah.
Got it.
Or, like,
Okay, so
or fall in
basically,
love
Anak
in
is
general.
the first of that. Like, oh, what happens if a princess of Jahad has a kid? Like, are they technically a princess thing? So we're exploring that concept with Anak. Got it. I thought it was like something that was like commonly occurring, and like some other there was just some other issue with Anak's mom as to why
I haven't,
she got
we haven't
caught.
seen
But
anything else, any other like kids of a princess. But that's why
Oh,
Anak is
okay,
kind of
got
that's
it.
why she's strong, because like she's the kid of a
The kid.
princess of Jahad. Like,
Right.
so she's just strong for no reason.
Pretty much.
got it. Okay,
But yeah, I mean,
that makes sense.
it's a lot. Like, it's almost like a political game too, from what like my understanding.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they be beefing with each other. It's actually a competition, really, like between all the princesses. So
Oh, wow.
Oh snaps.
yeah, they're not really like they're not like not friends. I mean, you can align yourself with certain people or like support certain people, but they're all like in competition with each other pretty much.
Damn. So even Yuri's like, I ain't fucking with y'all two bitches.
No, but yeah, Yuri's like a little different than like
Oh, she's an enigma.
I mean, even the fact that she fucked with Baam was like,
That's true.
technically they should take that nigga Baam. Like, they should all try to kill him.
Oh, really? That's how.
Oh, that's
All right, I guess that's spoilers.
Oh,
Well,
hey,
and I
spoiler
don't
alert,
care. I personally don't care, but yeah,
Oh, yeah, I'm
I
saying in
guess
case someone watching it up, they're pissed off at me.
right.
Just blame Player 5. But yeah, they're supposed to hate them niggas. Irregulars in general. Like, they're not like they're like a threat to the tower.
Got it.
So they go high court with the societal structure system then too.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah,
this whole world is just
it's
you.
deep.
I mean,
Yeah, that's just deep.
But I
I mean,
definitely,
they
if I
have,
was
like-
rating. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, I said even like we still don't know shit about like the 10 family heads. Like, I think we've met like one of them in this time. We don't really know shit about them.
Is Coon from one of the special families? He is, right?
Yeah, he is.
oh, he got kicked out.
The Coon family. I
Yeah.
wasn't kicked out. Like he did something. I don't exactly know what it is. Something with like a sister or cousin or some shit like that. But I mean,
Hopefully it's appropriate.
the people on so they got a list of like ranking all the rankers. Like, we don't know most of the niggas on the at least in the top 10. We don't know who they are. I mean, we might know who they are, but we've never seen them. Like, Jahad isn't even number 1. Like, we've seen like we've seen like one of the niggas on the top shit. Like, it's just that shit goes deep. It's like a whole lore. It's a whole like
That shit crazy.
Yeah.
But yeah, if I was to rate the group of the princesses of Jahad, I guess as a concept or as a character group, I would definitely give them like a decent sell. Like, obviously it's not, I can't give it a lit because I really don't fully understand the workings of this system yet with the princesses, but I do like the relationship between Dorsey and Anak. I'm very interested in what Yuri's gonna have like in store in the future and like future scenes of her and stuff. And I thought actually that like, I don't know if this associates with the Princess of Jahad or if this is more like an honorable mention, like that little scene with her sidekick guy, the guy that follows her around, and I guess that like super swole dude, like when they were meeting with that guy for tea, I kind of liked the interaction there, where before he seemed like kind of like a smart but like goofball kind of guy, and I felt like in that scene he felt pretty strategic and like, I don't know, badass for a second. So I thought that was kind of dope. So
who you mean? You mean the guy in the costume?
The guy
with the white hair
with like big backpack with Yuri.
Yeah. The one that's always following them around. Her around.
Oh yeah, he's never mind.
Is he dope at least? Is he dope? I mean, you don't have to spoil it, but is he dope? Because I got dope vibes from him. Like he might be.
No, yeah, I mean, he's a certain type of, like, if you want to call it a race.
Oh,
a certain
okay.
type of race that their entire race is like
Slave niggas.
they help helping niggas.
Okay.
Gotcha. All right.
I'm pretty much giving it the same. One,
cool.
as far as like the plot point that like the Princess of Jahad kind of like gives to the story is definitely intriguing. Along with like the three princesses we've been like, introduced to, they're all like, one, strong, so got to give them the big ups for that. And two, they just kind of have like that. I mean, they're not just strong, but they also have like that strong, like, confident attitude that like makes them attractive to watch as well. So definitely big ups, and hopefully they'll learn more.
All right.
Yeah, in general, I fuck with the princesses. I like the, what's the weapons called? The 13 marches or whatever.
Oh yeah, I'm very interested in that
swords.
series.
Yeah, it is. It's more to that. It's more to them. It's actually funny how it's like the reason they have them, but overall I think they're it's an interesting add to like the story. It's like it's not necessarily like on the main the main part of the story, but it's like on a nice side thing that's like, oh, this is pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
They're pretty much all strong. So.
Yeah, they gotta be pretty much.
Yeah.
I mean, they give off that like Valkyrie vibe, right? Where they're just like, like that Valkyrie that like Amazon is, just like strong, independent, confident, just women warriors, So.
Like I said, yeah, they're picked like they're like damn near breeded to be like princesses. So shit, they better be strong.
Yeah.
And Loki, I think they're also injected with like blood to make them stronger. I think. Spoiler.
Spoilers. But I guess we can move on to honorable mentions for characters, and I talked about Bruce Lee guy, but before I talked about Bruce Lee guy, there's another goofball I needed to highlight. Palanchico, whatever the fuck his name is. That dude was just
Parakeet, like the
yeah. Yeah,
that's the guy in the costume, you mean?
No, he's not in a costume. He literally has like, he shows up like towards the end when they do that battle, and then the only reason why I'm bringing him up is I just thought the whole scene where they were that last whatever test that they took, he was there with Rack, and Rack was just like fucking his name up like consistently, like he was just making shit up for his name. Yeah, he's like I guess he was like another spear guy, but he was just he was trash and shady. But yeah, I just thought that shit was funny. So shout outs to him, and then obviously
is hilarious.
Shout outs to him and shout outs to Bruce Lee, homie. I thought he had some amazing scenes, even though he like as a character had like I don't even know what he did as far as the hands. But they definitely gave him some shine. So I don't know if he's going to be consistent in later parts of the story because, like you said, some niggas go ghost. But I thought they were giving him decent respect, especially with the whole bringing Yuri to saving Dorsey and Anak. I thought that was like...
Who's that you said?
He wears the jumpsuit. He's on Anak's team. Yeah.
Say his name again?
Shibisu. He's got like a karate jumpsuit.
Oh yeah, you mean the karate homie? Yeah, Shibisu. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
They were seasoning him like he might be a little bit like more of a staple in the story. So I hope so because I actually enjoyed him.
He's actually pretty smart. Yeah, like definitely like gave him shine.
Yeah, he's smart too. I mean, it's weird because like I said, they break up into multiple groups. So he's not. Of course, like, he's not as important as Kun.
Right. So he's a good side character to follow.
Yeah, his group. Well, he's behind in Dorsey also. But he's still important though. I mean, like shit. He's like he's the leader of the other group pretty much.
Oh wow.
Okay.
Good shit.
Yeah.
But what is a leader? Because what does that mean?
Yeah, that's the fact. Doesn't mean you're strongest necessarily. But yeah, like also I put some respect on the samurai homie from his team. We didn't get much like actual insight into him, but I mean I thought he was interesting. And then like to find out the whole Anak backstory and to set up that rivalry between him and Anak in the beginning, I felt like was made a major statement about what we could see from him in the future. So I liked him.
True.
Yeah. I forgot about that actually. I do think she would drop his ass, but yeah, he's.
Oh, word.
Well, I
yeah,
mean, she don't got the
didn't
Green
have a
Apron no more, bro. I mean,
I still think she would win, but no, he's decent though. He's decent. He's also like he's like a little less important than Shibisu, I feel like, but he's still, of course, he's still in like the realm of main characters. Like he gets words, like and you know who he is, and he pops us every now and then.
Right.
But none of them are in the next season. So,
as far as highlights for honorable mentions, I definitely got to give some big ups to Laoroe, or like Laoroe. Yeah, that sounds about right. Buddy that like kept.
Hey, one thing, the names in this bitch are tough.
Yeah, for real.
But sleeping bag homie who was like always sleeping with like low key like Jitsu. No, I thought he was like low key hilarious. Like he would always pass the test with like the bare minimum and just be chilling. Like it's a perfect description of like just a low key like boss though. Like I feel like he understands pretty much like maybe not all what's happening, but he has a pretty decent picture of like what's all kind of going down, even on the low key. So
but I think he's from a royal family too. So.
That makes sense. Okay. And then him, and then also I want to give big ups to Hedon, the actual caretaker of the tower. He definitely gives that, you know, like
the rabbit.
Yeah. I mean, I guess more than anything, I like the design again because he like that, you know, it's just simple, like the slender, like just with like a blue like one piece, and then like his actual weapon or like his staff, however you want to describe it. Like a homie to me just looks dope in my opinion. And then just like knowing that he's the caretaker, knows that he's got, you know, the low-key schemes. He's the one who really got Rachel into it with like certain circumstances, and he's kind of like that.
I don't understand him either. He's like a mystery.
Right.
I don't understand.
That's pretty much like the character that they like introduced him to be, like that like eternal enigma to kind of like drop chaos where he sees fit.
Like, why do you even let Rachel into the tower? Like,
yep. Like fuck y'all niggas. That's why. Y'all got me out here on the first level, ain't doing shit, bro. Fuck y'all.
Yeah, he's the administrator of the first floor, so
yeah.
You just don't know the fucking.
Gotta be the most boring floor though.
Mm-hmm.
But he's I mean he can do what he wants to. He can
literally do whatever he wants to based on what we saw.
I mean I think the other administrators, like they have to stay on their floor, but I think he could he can go wherever he wants. He's the guy. He's actually the guy like who like brings people to the test them to go up the tower. Yeah, so like that's why Baam and Rachel just ran in on their own. Mm-hmm. But he actually goes and finds niggas and be like, "Oh, I think you're good to take these tests and shit. Come on, slide." He's a recruiter. Yeah, damn near. But
F around. He low key actually. Well, what you all just mentioned, kind of like maybe that's what it is too. He reminds me of that whatever you want to call it, that like that cat being from you ever watch Puella Magimotoka? Well, long story short, like that's kind of like a spoiler in itself, but like the being in that series has like a lot of like strong similarities and can definitely like impact the plot and story hardcore depending on how they want to do with it. So I got that feel from it.
Oh.
Just another mystery in the Tower of God world.
That's a fact. Any other honorable mentions on the characters?
I fucked with Yu Hong Sung, the
actual director.
That nigga is like cold to me. He's like
who?
The guy who made Rock Short, like the main administrator.
Yeah. Oh, that guy?
Yeah.
That nigga cold to me.
Yeah, no, he I mean, like pretty much like at least as far as like the overall episodes go, he had the feeling of like the one that was truly controlling what was all going down, right? As far as like saving. Yeah, so as far as like saving Baam at the end, I think like that was him. As far as like Yuri showing up, like that was him. Like he was kind of like, you know, the main manipulator, at least as far as this season goes. So it's definitely curious to see like what his intentions are and like more about him. So
I get Kabuto vibes from the guy. I can't fuck with him.
that is facts, though. That's kind of fact.
You know the Kabuto ass nigga. You know,
like
okay. he straight. I fuck with him. I mean, he not like as like from like the first season. You may think that he's like more high up than he is.
Right.
He's not.
He's definitely on his come up. Got it.
I mean, I don't know. Like, he probably like at his peak shit.
Interesting. Okay.
All right. So hype for this series. I think overall, I mean, being the first like manhwa that I know of to be converted into like an anime for the mainstream audience, I feel like there was definitely a decent amount of hype surrounding it. Do I feel like this show was underhyped? No. Do I feel like it got overhyped? No, either, because I don't really feel like I've heard too many people. I've heard like the Rachel backlash, like, and that was about the biggest wave I think Tower of God has made as far as like the online communities I follow is. Other than that, I don't think people have talked about it much. So I would say this is probably pretty accurately hyped. And I think, as we've talked about before, it's for a specific type of person. Like, if you're not into the story or you're looking for something that you can kind of like pick up and not have to think about, it's not going to be for you. And I think that will pretty much weed out most of those people in the first 1 to 2 episodes. Like, it doesn't even sell you like a dream. I feel like some other animes sell you some bullshit and then it turns out to be something else. Like, Tower of God doesn't do that. It kind of, from the first couple episodes, you can kind of tell what you're gonna get from this, which is not a whole lot of action, right?
So I pretty much am on the same boat. What I will say though is that as far as the manga readers I know out there, they were hyped about it simply because, like, for manga, like Tower of God's like the Korean big three, you know what I mean? So for them, it's like, oh snap, it's finally happening. Tower of God anime, let go. And I mean, like, as far as the reactions they got, I mean, like, was pretty much just, you know, accurate to the manga. So it's not like they were really disappointed. So, I mean, as far as like the hype that was really put on the series, I thought that was definitely, I guess we'll say accurately placed, as MGG said. But also, as we mentioned earlier, it's not that super actiony, hands-on hands gonna keep you excited going from episode to episode. But if you want kind of like a brain teaser, if you want theory building, if you want world building and plot building, story building, and plus to kind of be teased also at the end, then all right. But I mean, we'll get to the recommendations later, but I do think that as far as like what you've heard from at least like the anime community, anime specifically, let's talk about the manga, but from the anime community, I'd say it represents it pretty well.
I would actually say it's underhyped. Just because.
Is that your bias coming in though?
Yeah, exactly. I know. But yeah, I mean, only because like I knew people that read it and told me about it. Other than that, like you said, there's not much news about it. And that's what you expect from like a Korean manhwa instead of like a regular shonen. They probably don't have like the Shonen Jump type money to promote shit and stuff like that. So
it just started, and then plus it's like also like a Crunchyroll original, so it's only like super specific right now too. So I mean, it's understandable in that respect.
But yeah, I mean, I still would say it's well, as it gets bigger, if they like do the anime as they should, I think the hype will definitely grow. But it's possible where they fuck it up. They fuck the anime up completely, and then it doesn't get the shine and shit. I mean, like Toriko, you know, I was thinking about that.
True. That is true.
Okay. I mean,
but I think in this day and age, I think the chance of them fucking it up isn't very likely. I feel like.
Oh yeah, no. There's too many people's pockets invested into anime now that I think
the
like creativity is there, but probably stifled in a business sense. Meaning like they're still like this has got to make us money. Like in the end of the day, we're not just doing it just like to do it.
Shit.
Yeah.
Fans. Nope.
Right. But yeah, I mean, I guess that's good on hype. So into the final part of this, what's our final recommendation for Tower of God? Basically, if I was to start, I think I could say like I would say you should watch this, but there's going to be a caveat for me, which is just like you have to understand the type of person you are. So I would say if you're into like mystery a little bit and like if you're comfortable with questions not necessarily being answered outright, and you're basically in it for like a long haul complex story, I would definitely recommend this as a watch. If you're more of like the shorter term, you like quick hitter seasons, and you really want to get a lot out of your seasons, I think that you would be very frustrated by this format. So basically, if you're like, oh, I want something that's like Fire Force or something that's like Demon Slayer, don't watch it. If you're looking for something that's more like I don't even want to say a One Piece, but I would say One Piece in the fact of like you're going to be in it for a while. You're looking for another one of those series, and being that a lot of the longer form ones have ended, this might be the one. And you've matured obviously with your anime too. I would say that this is probably definitely a nice logical second to like I came off a Naruto series, or I came off of a Bleach or something like that, and you want a more complex story. I think this is definitely a logical like, all right, let's give this a shot and see if I'm interested. So I would recommend it as a watch if you're into any of those things. Once again, if you're still into your typical shonen, I need to see niggas boxing, this probably isn't for you. So.
Yep, I pretty much agree 100%. The biggest struggle someone's going to watch when coming into this is just that how far it's actually progressed. You know, it's still new and such a big world that, again, you're in this for the long haul. If you're looking for a 3-episode anime that'll like get you satisfied when you like watch that 13th episode, you're not going to find it. Like, you're not going to reach that kind of feeling for like, to be honest. I mean, we don't even know. I mean, like, you just heard, you know, Deuce as a manga reader, and like he's already like hundreds of chapters in, and even like he's not fully satisfied. He has like close to like the same amount of questions we do right now. So know that when you getting into this, like you're about to be invested for like, you know, at a minimum like a decade until you really start to like feel like that's what's up. You know what I mean? So like just be ready for that. As far as, I mean, to keep it specific for you, as far as recommending this 13 episode anime to someone else, I honestly probably wouldn't do it. I'd probably wait for another season or 2 before I say, all right, pick this up, check it out, tell me what you think. Because I feel like everyone who watches the first season is going to have close to the same viewpoint, in the sense that if the anime is all what you're actually checking out from the series, you're still going to have questions. You're still going to have, you know, like you're pretty much going to absorb the exact same information. I mean, again, this is pretty much a prequel. So all this is literally doing is laying down the foundation for you to keep watching. So everyone's going to kind of have close to that same feeling. So the 13 anime episodes won't really do that much for you by themselves. So in all honesty, for these 13 episodes alone, I probably wouldn't recommend it, at least not yet.
I actually agree with that. I mean, it's not more of whether I recommend it. I clearly do, but it's more of a when you should start it. Just these 13 episodes is not going to do anything for you. I think it's a pretty slow 13 episodes too. If I didn't have anyone like telling me it was good, I don't know if
you would stick with it.
Yeah, exactly.
That makes sense.
So and then it's probably like, I'm telling y'all it's good, so yeah, then y'all like, will stick with it, you know.
Right.
But outside of that, I don't think just from these 13 episodes, like nothing caught me. Was like, oh, this shit is like, oh, this shit go crazy, you know. So I have like the wealth of I know what's coming. That's the only reason I can tell people to keep going. But yeah, this 13 episodes itself, I would say right now I recommend it to people if they don't mind like reading it and catching up.
Yeah.
And honestly, if you just like anime in general, sure, you can watch it. But like you said, you may not see other episodes for another year. And even then, it's gonna be what, 26 episodes max. Yeah. Shit, that's still not shit compared to the overall story. So it's gonna be a while. Like you said, it's gonna be a minute.
You're in it for the long haul. Like I felt like it's like looking at the sky and like trying to process all the information that's in there. Like that's the good and bad thing about it. So if that excites you, like you said, then we'll probably drive you to the manga. Then I totally agree. Like I'm wanting to change my opinion based off like how you guys said it. It is definitely like a win thing, because it's like the story points are very exciting, but I'm definitely going to the second season off of one, the respect people that I trust their opinion has put on it, and two, the fact that like the story points that were placed in there, like the hype for those, but not really off of anything I saw in the first season. A few things, not anything like super major, but mostly off of like the anticipation of what's to come, because they set up such a great like world basically, and you want to know answers to these questions like Attack on Titan or all these other shows kind of do with their world building. But yeah,
Loki. So yeah, that's why if it was like an episode every week, it would. I would like say, hey, watch the shit, like, no questions. But
yeah,
just the long gaps. It's just a lot to
don't fuck it up.
Just wait.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's fair.
But overall, I would still say, yeah, check it out. Whether it's anime or any other form you want to check it out, you definitely should.
Yeah, no, at minimum, I would definitely like recommend the manga. I haven't even read it, but just based on what I'm hearing, like if you're a manga reader, then yeah, definitely check out the manga.
Yeah,
without a doubt.
They got me. I'm gonna start it soon.
The last note I just want to talk about the animes in general is that I gotta give a shout out to the soundtrack. The intro, outro, and even like the music fitting the scenes. I actually was like really impressed and really like the music that they chose. So like I will throw that note out there.
Gotcha. I did not pay attention to that, but that's a
Yeah.
Okay, if that's it, then that is our should you watch video for Tower of God. Let us know what you thought in the comment section below. Have you watched the first season? If you have, what are your thoughts? If you're not watching the first season, did we convince you to give it a try or to wait on it? Let us know. And that's it. See you later.
All right, until next time.